Welcome back, beautiful people. Time for a new video, eh? Today I want to talk about how having my motorbike stolen affected me. So obviously, without having your only vehicle around, you have to start relying on other people or relying on public transport. And with my job being a very, very early start, I get up at 5:30 every day, you're a bit limited with your options. So luckily enough, where I work, there's a hell of a lot of people that go past where I live. So I was lucky enough to be able to get a lift to work for the 3 or 4 weeks, however long it took for me to get this after my MT-07 was stolen. So relying on other people to come and pick you up and drop you off, and bearing in mind the time of year it was and currently is, it gets dark very quick, so your evenings and mornings are pitch black. I'll come back to why that's important in a minute. But when you're relying on other people, you can you haven't got sort of your own, I wouldn't say freedom, but you're not relying on yourself to do things. So not that I was ever late to work, I was later than I was usually, but not that I was ever late. But when you're relying on other people, it just feels a bit shit, really, for me personally. I don't know about anyone else, but I like to be quite self-sufficient, and obviously when you don't have a vehicle, you've got to rely on other ways to get to work. Like I said, luckily enough, loads of people come past where I live, so I like to be quite independent. I like to be self-sufficient, and it annoyed me a bit that I had to keep relying on people to get me to and from. I said I'll allude back to dark mornings and dark evenings. So without your own transport, you're very limited in where you can go. And on my days off from work, I live quite out in the sticks, as you can see clearly. So if I wanted to go out, I'd have to yet again rely on someone to come get me, or I'd have to use public transport, buses, taxis, things like that. And so I just didn't. I just stayed home. And with the dark mornings and dark evenings, on days that I would go to work, I wouldn't see any sunlight apart from being at work. So it was a cycle of getting up to go to work in the dark, going to work, and then coming back in the dark, and then I was doing 10-hour shifts. So I've only got like an hour or two to go home, do all the chores that you need to do, cook, clean, eat, all of that, and then go to bed. And doing that, rinse, repeat, without having a motorbike to get me around on my off days, and then my off days just sat there doing complete bugger all. I don't know, it seemed to grate on me, really. It's just, I felt sort of isolated, stuck. I had like lack of motivation, because not the only fun thing I've got in my life, but the main fun thing that I've got, I couldn't do. And then if you've ever been in that position before yourself, you'll know that if you enjoy other things, because your like main thing isn't around, you don't really enjoy them as much. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. I was sat there trying to play games on the Xbox, and I was just, oh, I'm bored of this, I want to go out on the bike. And then I'd look in the front garden and the bike wasn't there, and I'm like, oh, I kind of forgot for a second. So it's just one of those things. It's a bit of a weird feeling to just be isolated out in the sticks with nothing to do. I can't really do much, like I said, because I'm isolated. It's just a really weird feeling. And last week's video, I spoke to you guys, a more of a sit down type of video, but I mentioned in that with my bike being stolen and insurance not paying out, I was pretty much shafted. So I lost, what did I pay for the bike? 7.5 grand, 7,500. And let's put another 1,000 on top of that, so 8.5 for the mods and things I put on there. So within a blink of an eye, I'm £8,500 down, and for insurance not to even really give me much in the form of conversation, that's not English, but you know what I mean, the communication between me and the insurance wasn't great. And then like I said, how they handled things of, oh yeah, we're not paying you out, it's just shit. Pardon my French, I know I swear a lot, but it is shit. And that made me feel like utter dog shit. And then the thought of getting a new bike, I'm like, shit man, how the fuck am I going to do this? I've just lost out on 8.5 grand. What am I going to do? And I don't mind telling people what I had to do, because at the end of the day I've been shafted and I've needed to figure out a way to get out of the little hole that I'm in. And obviously creating content I love doing, and I can't be without a bike for too long, because then the content's going to dry up, and I want to try and keep one video a week going live, well, one video a week going live every week, so you have something from me to watch. And without a bike it's very difficult. I had a few brands get in touch with me, the ones that I work with and do like photo shoots for, and I said, look, at the minute I haven't got a bike, so I'm going to need to send the stuff back, because I can't really go out and take photos in the stuff. And they said, oh, you could go out without the bike. Which I thought was quite funny, because how can I go out in bike gear without a bike? Oh, I just thought it was a bit funny. But where was I? Oh, let me just warm my hands up quick, and then then I'll be back with you. Sorted. Let's get going. Let's get going. Right, where was I? I was talking about losing out on 8.5 grand, and the way I had to combat that is I had £2,000 left to pay on the MT, because I paid 4,000 up front and financed the rest of it. So I had 2,200 left to pay on that. So I was thinking, okay, let's look for a new bike. So I looked for this, it was up for 7, I got them down to 6.5, and then insurance for this was just over 1,000. I can't remember the right figure of it. So I done some maths and I thought, okay, let's minimise my monthly outgoings, and it's a bit of a risk, but I done all the maths and I worked everything out, and I thought, if I get a 10 grand loan and then I can pay the £2,200 off, I can get a new bike and I can finance it, not finance it, I can get it insured for the year, and it come to £10,100 or something like that. So that's what I ended up needing to do, the loan for 5 years, which it's a big thing, but in the situation that I was in, that's the only sort of choice I had, or borrow money from someone else. I don't know, but the APR on it wasn't too mental anyway, so I think it was like 7%, so quite lucky there. It is what it is, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? And I got a little message for any thieves out there that are watching this. Just think before you do something. If you're planning on stealing a bike for a bit of fun, rag it around and then dump it somewhere, just remember that your actions have consequences, and for your 5 minutes of fun you're causing someone months, years of grief, if you will. Like I said, that loan that I've had to take out, is over a 5-year period. I'll be able to pay it off a lot sooner than that anyway. But still, if you're going to go out there and steal someone's pride and joy, or anything, just stealing anything, you're causing someone a lot of grief. With my case, where it was my vehicle and someone's going out stealing, they're probably thinking, oh yeah, insurance is going to cover that, it's fine. Well, in my case, it's not fine. And like I said, if there's any thieves watching, just think about what you're doing. If you want something nice, go out and fucking earn it like the rest of us. And if someone did steal it to sell it and make a quick buck, just ask yourself, is it really worth it for a quick and easy payout? Because at the end of the day, karma's gonna come round and bite you in your fucking ass. And that's that. And if I've got one thing that I've learnt from this, is that if I see any bike thieves, catch them in the act or whatnot, I'm gonna go run up to them and 2-foot them off the bike. That's my promise to you. Stop them where stop them in the act. Because if I can save someone else from having their pride and joy nicked, I will. That's my promise to you guys. And if I've got the GoPro with me, you'll be seeing the footage. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll love you and leave you. And I'll see you next week. If I don't come off, because the floor's all fucking frozen. See you later, guys.